Today, we have a bit of a flash update or a flash breaking news in the culture, a cultural flash in breaking news. And I'll be bringing you something from the vetted source, the TNA. I'll actually have some footage for you on mask shaming. Hope you guys are doing well. And thank you so much for tuning in to this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in to what I am calling a flash stream. Now, these may come up from time to time. It might seem like a totally new, something new, but it's actually going to be something that's going to happen pretty regularly, just based on the type of dynamics and, of course, the confluence of events that are happening around the country these days. So, I just want to say thanks so much for everybody tuning in. Shout out to the loyal patrons, Derek C. Williams, Killer Rail Channels, The Definition of Anarchy, Angels Army, the former Angel Munez Variety Show, Chrysler Imperial H, Little Miss Goth, Let the Truth Be Told, and a double special shout out to Cold War Jesus. Thank you guys so much for coming in, or if you're just tuning in, or if you're driving by with the window down, that is totally fine. And if you guys could take care when it is safe to do so, or when it is convenient for you to hit that like or the unlike button. If you dare to throw caution to the wind on your Friday, that's always helpful with Channelytics. And also just please make sure you are still subscribed. Now, we all know by now that this pandemic has brought about quite a few. Shout out to Tony Patriot. Thank you so much for coming in, Tony Patriot. Love your content. I caught some of your live stream earlier today. Good work. Keep going. I'll be back for more. And so we're going to do a little bit on I have something for you from our vetted source. So I'm going to we're going to have a few words from our friends at the JBS, and then I'll take you into the footage of what I consider a bit of a cost station or an ambush in the mask culture. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. This segment of our show is brought to you by our good friends at the John Birch Society. Less government, more responsibility, and with God's help, a better world. The JBS is a constitutional and educational organization that's been around for over 60 years, dedicated to upholding and defending the Constitution and working to preserve our freedoms and liberties in this country. The JBS does not endorse any political party or candidates. Rather, it focuses on the education, training, and development of the American voters. All right. Thank you guys so much for your patience. And a shout out to Patrick Jane Forums. Shout out to Killer Rail Channels, Patrick Jane Forums, Theology Forums. Thank you so much for coming in. So this is going to bring me to the soundbite. We actually have a video footage and everything. Now this is, I'm going to go ahead and take you to that screen. Thank you guys so much for coming in to this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. And I'm going to be taking you to the coverage right now. Hope you guys are doing well out there. Shout out to you. All right, so just really quickly from our vetted source, the TNA, this is written by William F. Jasper. Okay, now here I'm going to be presenting a video. This is a COVID deranged shoppers harass and assault teens for not wearing masks at Walmart. So, you might find this frightening or you might find it par for the course. I mean, who knows? But I guess you should just be aware that you have this type of derangement out there, and you have this is happening. Okay, so according to this, what do you do if you're just peacefully shopping when all of a sudden a couple of crazed mask-wearing shoppers start screaming at you and get in your face and threaten and assault you? So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and take you to this particular soundbite, this video rather, and it's going to show you how and what happened when Jariah and Landon Dickinson at the Walmart in Post Falls, Idaho. The two teen brothers. Thanks so much for sharing that out, Daddy Days. Thank you. That's really appreciated. Thank you for throwing caution to the wind here. And the two teen brothers were minding their own business when they were accosted by an hysterical mask-wearing woman who called them, quote, terrorist, in quote, for not wearing a face mask. Okay, so this is a middle-aged woman and her husband. So without further ado, I'm going to take you to that clip. I hope you guys are doing well on your Friday. And thank you so much for tuning in to this flash stream with Black Spring with Autumn. And thank you guys so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. Shout out to Tony Patriot and Daddy Days.
Freedom. Stop it. Whoa, whoa. Whoa. Okay. That's assault. Stop it. That is assault. Are you going to tell us? We're going to take your picture to the cops. Go ahead, everybody. You think this is cute, huh? You think this is cute, not wearing a mask? I hope you guys have a health problem, bro. You can take care of this by walking away. Thank you. Go get a damn mask and put it on your face. Thank you for your service. We appreciate your service.
And Landon, as well as her husband. And what was your first name again?
Rob.
Rob?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for being here, everybody. So there was an incident that happened. I'll probably show the video before this interview here. And so we'll go ahead and talk about what led up to this incident. And so let's start here with Jariah. So you showed up to Walmart. What happened that day?
Well, we first walked in and they asked us to wear masks and we politely declined wearing masks. So they just let us through anyways. And we were just walking through and this couple just decided to come up and harassed us first. They just said that we hope your grandparents die from COVID and called us jerks. So we just said, have a good day, you know. And then they came up again and I decided to pull out my phone and start recording. And that's when all that stuff happened. That's on camera and she hit me. And
where did she hit you?
She hit me right here on the shoulder. I actually blew my shoulder out that same day because I was playing football and I blew it out that same day. And so she hit the same exact spot that I blew out my shoulder. So yeah, it wasn't very good.
I mean, did you ever in your wildest dreams think something like this could happen?
No, I never expected it to happen, to be honest. But
now, what was it like when you first went in the Walmart?
It was just.
Did they make you wear a mask?
No, they didn't make us. They just asked us if, you know, to wear one. And we just said no, you know, politely declined it. So we just continued walking. It was just every regular day today, I guess. Just politely decline wearing a mask, continue shopping, I guess. But
okay, well, thank you for that information. This is very interesting to people around here. So, and the lady said, you guys are abusing your freedom. Stop it. What do you think when she said that?
I honestly didn't. Like everything that was just happening, I just had it on my phone. I kind of, when I went back and listened to it, I didn't really listen to anything that she was saying because it was kind of like just all there right in your face. But when I listened to it later, it just didn't really make any sense to me, I guess. But yeah.
And so Mom, Jill here, what's your thoughts on what transpired when you saw that video? What did you think?
I was angry, you know, like any mom would be. The mama bear came out in me and I'm like, oh, no, she didn't. So I was at a coffee shop with my oldest daughter just hanging out and we took off, came home. I viewed the video and my blood was boiling. This is not okay. We live in a country that we have freedoms, we have liberties. And for my kids to walk into Walmart and get apprehended and accosted the way they did, it's uncalled for. Walmart did nothing about it. The employees, some of them stood around laughing, mask shaming with this couple. I'm still angry. I talk about it and I get angry all over again. It's a simple freedom to walk into a store and get some snacks with your buddies when you're a teenager. And it's sad that my kids have to be afraid to do that.
Absolutely. So what's happened since then, since the incident?
So I posted the video, the footage of the couple accosting the kids. It blew up. It went viral. Last time I checked, it was over 71,000 views, over 2,500 shares now. I've had KXLY, KREM 2, KHQ, all these liberal news sources actually contact me, and I haven't responded. I'm not sure if I'm going to. It's a lot to take in. I've had a lot of people support in the community, people caring and concerned, like what can we do? I have a lawyer that may reach out to me at some point regarding the mask mandate.
Did you press charges?
I did. Yes, I did press charges. I filed a police report and pressed assault charges. I don't know if she's been served those papers yet. I should be hearing from the police department anytime on that.
Okay. And anything else you'd like to add?
Well, just from a mom's heart, I would like to see this mandate lifted. It's garbage that we have to put up with this. We live in a country where men and women have fought for our freedoms and liberties, and we're watching them get stripped. So, anything I can do to help bring that back, bring a sense of safety back to our kids and our families, I'm all for it. And I hope this video gets out there and touches the right people and something's done.
So you're looking for a lawyer?
Well, I mean, yes and no. I'm not sure. Everything's hitting so fast. I'm not sure how to handle everything yet, but I have had a lawyer reach out to me. So I don't know. We'll see. Is
there an email or some way people can reach out to you if they're watching this?
Yeah, you can email Jill7807@gmail.com.
Okay, thank you. Would either of you like to say something? Dad, you want to say something about this? When you saw that video, what do you think?
Well, I was pretty upset about it, really didn't know how to process it. My son's, 6'3", so I wasn't real worried about, Granny Puckett taking him down or anything, but, I try to teach my kids that, we live in a free country, and the only way to do that is going to come with sacrifice, and always record them whenever you can. And that's for our own protection and their protection. And so, I was pretty peed off. I'll just say that. Yeah. But other than that, yeah. Yeah.
You want to say anything, Landon?
I mean, the whole thing was just crazy. I'm just glad that my brother's okay and that we're okay. And I just hope those people learned their lesson. Just like, this is not okay what they did. And yeah.
All right. Well, do you want the takeaway from this? What do you want people to maybe learn from this story?
I guess the takeaway would definitely be, know your boundaries, I guess. Know not to come up to people and harass them like that. If it worst comes to worst, I guess, just know that, we can't really be protected by other people. So we got to protect ourselves. And if that's by pulling out our phones and recording, then, it's got to be like that, I guess, nowadays.
All right. Well, thank you, Jeriah. Thank you to the Dickinson family. Thank you so much for your time today. Appreciate it.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Sorry. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to this flash stream segment of Black Spring. Now, there you could see, there's just such an inconsistency nationwide. And it's almost, I mentioned earlier at some point, I was talking about this is a transfer. We're already dealing with like a transfer of power. At first we initially started out with 15 days to slow the spread. And now we went from 15 days to slow the spread to until there's a vaccine. Now, I just don't know where this kind of lunacy is not, to me, is not going to end. In fact, I can see things, tensions, the likelihood of it rising because the flu season is already, you can see a swath of vaccines just if you approach a pharmacy, and the flu vaccine is already being pushed. So I just don't know, who knows, but I do think that the government bears a lot of responsibility for the amount of inconsistency and the lack of consistent and factual information that's actually going out in reference to this pandemic. You've got the school debate in the news and the lights. It's a snowstorm. It's so many issues, and you've got tyrants, as far as west as, LA threatening to turn off lights. It's just, it's changing the culture of this country. Okay. So this is what happens when executive orders are made, which I'm not sure on the legalities, nor do I profess to be a lawyer or giving legal advice. I don't know what executive orders mean, or in the legality in which, how can they be, exactly to what degree are they enforced? Congress has the enumerated powers to create laws, but even judges, they're not even legally allowed to legislate from the bench. So I'm not really sure if somebody makes an order, where does the citizen actually stand on that? I'm not sure how that can be challenged, or, to the extent that it can be challenged. I don't know. Some people are, it's wearing the mask is actually more of a detriment, I think, than not having it. For people that have actual upper respiratory problems or complications already, even if you have something as much as a deviated septum, you could be, cutting your actual, your ability to breathe in half, I think, even or more. And I think it's presenting a lot of problems. There's just too many conflations. You're not getting full data. Everybody, follow the science. Okay, well, where's the full science report? Where is it? Where's the full science report? Even a terminal illness, you get the best and worst case in terms of survival rates. And from what I understand, there's many people. I have friends that have walked away from this thing. They went through their 14-day, their quarantine, and they still walked away from this thing. So how do you know what to go with? And I think that's an epic fail. If we're all of a sudden going to be a statist, we're dealing with state-run healthcare or state-run guidelines, then why hasn't, look at Fauci. He was on Capitol Hill and generally given a general question, a very specific question about, does the actual activity of protesting, rioting, and looting in the name of peace, how does that actually affect the spike in these cases? And he would not answer the question. And I have yet to see a report. The CDC is actually not treating anyone for this. What stats do they have on recoveries? And what's the percentage on that? Why is there so much bad information out there? You know, you got a lot of information, and yet all we have is chaos. It's not, we're not functional. This is not sustainable, is what I'm saying. I'm thinking more things are going to happen. More acts of, more people are going to be accosted. More attacks are going to happen. More coffee is going to be dashed on people. I mean, but I'm just saying, you know, I guess you just need to be aware of these things. And yeah, I think we're in a bad, we're not in a good place. And yeah, and honestly, I can't see us, you know, I don't see that November 3rd is the cure to this thing either. I don't, because I'm not convinced that once that ends, that it's going to, that the level of normalcy, whatever that means, whatever normal means, or just, you know, I don't know. It's, you know, we're in a holding pattern right now, and I don't know what the end of it is, because we've got, you know, it just seems to be there's a battle. There's a huge battle going on. Shout out to everybody that came in for this flash stream. And then I have another video for you. And just for those of you that are curious, I mentioned this on a previous stream. I do have there's an article posted on, an article that I posted from the Citizens for Free Speech. There's some mask hacks on that. There's, you know, you can read up on that and what's, you know, what things that are being done, or in some certain areas, or in maybe even in your own area. But that's something that you can get involved in if you're interested. But that's definitely a press release, a fresh press release that's on the community tab right now. So if you're interested in what's happening, you can check out the CFFS.org, that's citizensforfreespeech.org, and what they're doing in terms of the mask and for your mask edification. All right, shout out to Old Head Dues. Chrysler Imperial H, let the truth be told. Thank you so much for coming in. Chrysler Imperial H, thank you so much for coming in. And Luciano, thank you so much. Tony Patriot, thank you so much for coming in. And also Patrick Jane Forums, thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And also Daddy Days, thanks for sharing it out. And I hope you guys are doing well where you are abroad. You're in Germany. Hope you're doing well there. Thank you so much. Let's see. Okay. And let the truth be told says, thanks so much for your support, Tony Patriot. Really appreciate it. And yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're let the truth be told. We're not getting the truth. We're not getting the truth. Thank you for sharing that. I think there's, it's, you know, you can't make this stuff up. So with that said, I'm going to take you to the next clip. And thank you guys so much for taking care with the channelytics here. I do apologize. I was supposed to be off camera for a second there, and then I wasn't. So I apologize for any action you may have picked up on there. Let's see. Okay. Thank you so much, Tony Patriot. I really appreciate it. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take you guys to the next video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this segment. So I guess, you know, it's more about, you know, the will to survive right now. You know, I think we're beyond in my mind, we're beyond the survival of the fittest. So we have to just keep chugging along. So, all right, according to that, you know, those were the Dickinson brothers, you know, trying to maintain their cool, and yeah, you know, people come along and just start, you know, wailing on you, or, I mean, my gosh, so how about some self-defense classes during this time? Which I'm sure most of you guys can hold your own, but, you know, you just never know, you know. So, you know, it's like, okay, say for instance here, you know, we're talking about TDS. So we went from TDS to, what is it? COVID, you know, DS, you know, But yeah, so here, according to the article, it says now triggered by this hysteria and the BLM cancel culture, the same types of violence-prone people have found new causes for venting their vehemence. Okay, so there again, some people might argue, oh, they're just coping. They're just trying to cope with all the things that are going on. So be prepared for the coping mechanism if it ends up, coming across your face. So, all right, so I'll go on to the next video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. So just historically, a little bit of historical context, the type of personality seen in these crazy attacks are the type of personality that was recruited during the stormtroopers, Hitler's private army of brown shirt thugs who played a major role in the Nazi party to power in Germany. So we've talked about these kinds of things before. You got your little paramilitaries and you're neutralizing the opposition. And then you've got just this whole culture of not the snitches get the stitches, but according to Mayor Garcetti in LA, the snitches get rewarded. So who knows, you might not even be, who knows? They might try to give you if you have to defend yourself, you might end up dealing with an overcharge, in an assault. And who knows? So with that said, and that's actually kind of an excellent context here where they talk about, in addition to bullying and beating up Hitler's opponents, the Strongbüchslung, led by the German people in Jew shaming, pointing out Jews and yelling Jew, Jew, Jew. So it's outrageous. It's absolutely outrageous. And just another fun fact here from the TNA, the alarming rise of violent mass shamers has been made possible by the unceasing pandemic hysteria pumped up by the media propagandists. However, as countless examples have shown, the politicians, media bureaucrats, media commentators, and COVID activists who scold and lecture us don't even believe their own propaganda. Barack Obama, New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio, Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, CNN's Chris Cuomo, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, Dr. Anthony Fauci, and other too numerous to mention have been caught cavalierly violating the mask quarantine and social distancing mandates they are trying to force on everyone else. Okay, a particularly revealing and satisfying turnabout on media mask shaming occurred when MSNBC's Cal Perry attempted to shame beachgoers who were enjoying sunshine and recreation without face masks and social distancing. Oh, the horror of it. But the camera were turned on Perry and MSNBC, and cell phone videos showed the members of Perry's own MSNBC camera crew were not wearing face masks. Of course, as in now widely recognized, the entire mask mandate is based on a fraudulent, politicized, quote, science, end quote, that defies both common sense and medical scientific fact as embedded. So here we go. I'm going to bring you to your next clip. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this segment of Black Spring with Autumn.
It's been said that masks will dramatically slow the spread of COVID-19 virus particles, giving our country time to find a vaccine, thereby saving tens of thousands of lives. Is that true, or are masks merely a feel-good measure? Mask wearing, or the enforcement of mask wearing, has gotten extremely political.
Hey there, folks. Welcome. I'll be your server today. Just so you know, while you're sitting at the table, it's not really necessary to wear the mask, just because, once we sanitize everything here, COVID ain't going to stick around here for much so long. Specials. We also have a garden salad. Hold on. Don't really need this, We also have a hamburger. Garden salad with Parmesan peppercorn ranch. Or there's also...
As of right now, what do we know about the effectiveness of masks? Has there been any studies on it? Actually, there have been, and we'll look at those in a minute. First, let's discuss the argument for wearing masks. It goes a little like this. They work because when we cough or speak forcefully, those particles could be filled with millions of tiny individual virus particles. So the mask wearing prevents most of those particles from getting airborne. That makes sense, right? After all, who wants someone else's spit raining down on them? Gross. But here's the thing. There's a lot more to the story. First, there's an issue with the narrative. Let me explain. We're told it's important we wear masks because most people who get COVID-19 are asymptomatic, meaning they don't show signs of symptoms like coughing, but they could still be contagious. However, if a person isn't coughing or yelling, they're not sending spit flying, so that rationale for wearing a mask doesn't quite hold water, pun intended. Using 3 of the most common types of masks, we did a test using a vaping device to simulate air being breathed out while wearing a mask. With cloth and surgical masks, some air and the vapor and particles it carries moves directly through the mask, while the rest freely travels out the sides. These masks are clearly not effective at stopping air or possible virus particles from getting out. When the CDC did a test comparing these 2 masks, they found that rates of respiratory infection were consistently higher among those in the cloth mask group than in the medical mask and control groups. This finding suggests that risk for infection was higher for those wearing cloth masks. Not only did tests show that 97% of particulate matter passed through cloth face masks, the wearers of cloth face masks were more likely to catch respiratory illness and influenza-like illnesses over the control group that often didn't wear masks during their shifts. Dr. Jane Orient noted that even if these masks did work without eye protection, the virus can land on the eye where tears will wash it into the nasal passage, possibly getting the person sick. Finally, let's look at the best of the masks, the N95 mask. This mask can be form-fitted to seal around the mouth and nose. If it's properly fitted and properly worn, theoretically, it should be able to deter the spread of COVID-19 because it can stop virus-sized particles. Note that it stops most of the vapor particles here. However, there are 2 major stumbling blocks. First, as recently as June 25th, the CDC stated that it doesn't want citizens using N95 masks because they, quote, are critical supplies that should be reserved for healthcare workers. The second problem with the N95s are the numerous studies that show that they don't actually prevent against viral contagion. For instance, a clinical trial participated in by the CDC determined that N95 masks were no more effective than surgical masks in preventing respiratory illness, with about half the people in each group getting respiratory infections during the 12-week trials, a third of which were influenza. Dennis G. Rancourt, PhD, reviewed the randomized control studies about the effectiveness of face masks. Here's what he had to say. No randomized control study with verified outcome shows a benefit for healthcare workers or community members in households to wearing a mask or respirator. There is no such study. There are no exceptions. Likewise, no study exists that shows a benefit from a broad policy to wear masks in public. Masks and respirators do not work. He added that if masks did work because of the blocking power against droplets and aerosol particles, you would see a major difference in health outcomes between those wearing an N95 mask and a common surgical mask. But there is no such relative benefit. Let me repeat that. All randomized studies show that there is no health benefit from wearing a mask when you are fighting a respiratory virus. None. This makes perfect sense when one considers that CDC rules for proper mask wearing are broken all the time. The CDC says flat out that taking a mask off is a high-risk process because of the risk of contamination. Once masks have been put on, wearers cannot touch their masks, eyes, nose, or mouth because germs are collected in those areas of the mask. Taking off the mask should only be done by touching the retaining straps. If it's a reusable mask, it needs to be sealed up safely or washed immediately before it's reused. Basically, you need to treat it like the whole thing is covered in COVID. Anytime you see this, or even this, it's effectively making the wearing of a mask pointless, and now everything that person touches is now contaminated. The science and common sense clearly shows that wearing masks improperly will lead to increased spread of COVID, and these masks do not stop the tiny respiratory viruses from spreading. With so much evidence backing the ineffectiveness and greater risk of wearing masks, why are they being mandated? If you couldn't tell already, the New American does not agree with these unconstitutional mask-wearing mandates. Big surprise there, right? But guess what? Neither does the science.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning into this flash stream. But yeah, I thought that was more than interesting, and it kind of gives you kind of gives you a little bit of insight on what's going on, the hysteria. Now, I did hear of an instance where coffee was doused onto someone that was not wearing a mask. If I could find that footage, I might share that one. But yeah, so I guess it's getting to be more apropos to say be safe out there, because you need to be safe from be vigilant on the hysteria behind all of the stuff that's going on. Some people have it, but everybody's situation or their health profile is different. If you have lots of pre-existing conditions, or if your immune system is compromised in any way, then I would imagine it's reasonable that those people would handle their situations differently, or maybe they would order their groceries online rather than choosing to go and wait in lines and risk, if they're really, really concerned about the spread or what their risks are. I mean, I would never tell anyone what to do, and then because I don't know their health profile, I don't know, but I do think that it's an individual. It's still going to come down to an individual thing, and I don't know why we're kind of, the hysteria has come from, disinformation campaign over here. Just there's a swath of disinformation campaigns out there. You had an entire frontline group of doctors to come out on Capitol Hill, and even their post was snatched. That was scrubbed. And I don't know. This is very very poor. This is very poor representation, and it's not a leader. We're certainly not leading in handling these guidelines. Shout out to AZ Infidel. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you guys so much for taking care with your thumbs up, thumbs down in the Channelytics. I really appreciate that during these times. But I'm sure by now you guys have heard a ton of perspectives on what works and what doesn't work. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys for, let's see. You said, Old Head Deuce, I'm going to go StreamYard next time. Oh, let the truth be told. No problem. Thank you guys so much. And thanks so much for sharing it out, Tony Patriot. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I really appreciate that. So let me see if I can't find this, if I can't scrap this video. And I don't mean scrap, but if I can't find the coffee, the coffee assault. So this is mask tyranny, mask shaming culture is what this is. Is what the gist of this is. Non-mask wearers. I really appreciate you guys. Okay, let's see if I can grab it here. So yeah, I'm actually not finding that there. But you know, there's, like I said, there's a ton of things out there. But you know, you do have, you know, it's shout out to Miss Mary. Thank you so much for coming in. Oh yeah, thank you so much for coming in, Daddy Days. I really appreciate it. Oh my God, I need to catch up on that. The rapper. I need to catch up on that. I haven't seen that. This is so sad. See, I've done that too, Crazy Chick Sheena. It's just a lot. It's a lot going on. You know, it's a lot. And the rapper, yeah, face diaper, yeah, without a doubt. Certainly that. Let's see. Let's see. I'm gonna try this one more time. I hope you guys are doing well on your Friday. So yeah, I mean, I'm just saying you could be attacked, you know, for whatever you're doing. Okay, so at least we have one more. We've got a couple of coffee brawls. So why don't we just all things coffee, right? Coffee confrontations escalate into a brawl. Okay, so by the time something kicks off into a brawl, do you think you're more safe at that point? Or you more contaminated? So let's go with this one. This is Los Angeles, so very apropos. Let's go with that.
Hey, Micah.
All right, hope you guys are doing well. Thanks so much for tuning into this segment. I really appreciate it. Shout out to Crazy Chick Sheena, everybody that's just now joining. So we're gonna have a little bit of brawl, not straight out of Compton, straight out of Manhattan Beach.
A violent and bloody brawl broke out right here behind me in downtown Manhattan Beach. That's after a woman threw hot coffee at a man, and we spoke to that man, and he tells us that coffee was quite hot.
Oh, that was dumb. Hey, guys, stop. You don't. Hey, off me. Hey, stop. Get her off me. Get your girl off me. Get her off me.
A bloody fight erupts after a woman in Manhattan Beach throws coffee at a man not wearing a mask.
You shouldn't have thrown the drink in his face.
I don't give a.
You should not have thrown the drink. That was. You shouldn't do that with somebody that likes.
COVID now. You better go to the doctor.
The verbal sparring continues after the fight.
You shouldn't have thrown the drink in his face. That was pretty stupid. I don't know where you got off on doing that.
I hope that someone saw that. I would do it 10 times over.
Matt Roy and his friend James Hernandez, who are anti-mask, say they were having a conversation about how they feel about people wearing masks while at a downtown Manhattan Beach coffee shop on Friday morning.
This couple overheard us, and they took offense to it, and it really triggered them.
They say after getting their coffee, they walked a couple of blocks away where they found a bench to drink their coffee and eat their burrito on. They say that's when the couple approached them.
You don't need to be wearing masks.
No, we don't. How do I eat a burrito with my mask on?
Hernandez wears a body cam all the time and caught the incident on camera.
They were asking us to put our masks on. We just found that ridiculous because we're eating burritos and drinking coffee and we're outdoors. So we said no.
The men say
Okay, I just have to take an opportunity to interject. Did you see the hat that he was wearing? It's not. I'm like, okay, honey, it's not the coffee. It's the hat that you're wearing. You're wearing a MAGA hat, so you know they'll do just about anything. You know, I submit that it was more about the MAGA hat than it was the mask, because it may not have happened at all. I mean, that's just my assertion there, but I'll finish out. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for coming in and taking care.
that's when tempers flared and the hot coffee assault occurred. The couple then called the cops.
The cops did their cop thing. You know, they separated us and took statements at the same time, and you know, asked if we want to press charges. I said no. I just really appreciate an apology.
So
And Manhattan Beach police did confirm that neither side wanted to press charges, and so no one was arrested. They say that both sides apologized to the other, and then they went on their way. Now, I did ask Hernandez why he wears a body camera. He says that because he wears a Trump hat, that oftentimes people try to assault him, and so that's why he wears one. For now, reporting on...
Voila, you see? You see what I'm saying? This guy is wearing a body camera, and I recognized, I don't know, I was just paying attention just for a second there and caught that he was actually wearing that hat. So, and that's really going to be your best, I guess that's going to be your best defense. I think, I'm almost thinking everybody needs a body camera right about now, because you just don't know, So with that said, how about we take another one, since we're on the tour of assaults, why don't we take in another one? Thank you guys so much for tuning into this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys for taking the care and everything with the Channelytics. So we're going to go for the next assault. And I mean, who would have thought, I mean, could you guys imagine that we were getting to confrontations and throwing blows, right? Throwing blows. All right, so here's another one. This is a Coronado. Amazing. Okay, I apologize for the commercials here, but I'll get you through that. Okay. So we're going to skip the ad, and I'm going to take you to Coronado. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this segment of this flash stream. So get used to the flash streams, Of course, we will always have our usual suspects here on Black Spring. And, if I can add something extra, I will bring that to you. Thank you guys so much again.
ABC 10 News at 6 starts now.
I will tell everyone at the team never to come back here again.
This video of a man yelling at a teenaged employee at a Coronado coffee shop after being asked to wear a mask is making its rounds all over social media. This after reports of Coronado beginning to grow a reputation of non-compliance when it comes to obeying the public health orders. Good evening, I'm Vanessa Van Hefty. ABC 10 News reporter Rena Nakano spoke to the employee's mother, who says this kind of behavior needs to stop.
There's a new slogan in town: no mask, no service.
Whether you like it or not, it's just how it is.
Coronado's High Tide Bottle Shop and Kitchen was closed for 2 weeks after one of its employees tested positive for COVID-19. Now they're back open, and manager Lynn Papaconstantino says the mask issue is not up for debate.
We have very few people that come in here and don't want to wear a mask, and if they don't, I just ask them to leave. And if they say, well, you lost my business, well, then we lost your business.
At nearby Clayton's coffee shop, a Coronado mother noticed a man shouting at 2 teenage baristas Saturday morning.
No, I want to talk to that guy who's here.
She says the man became irate after being asked to wear a mask when stepping up to the counter.
It was just such a terrible demonstration of the way some people behave and bully 17 and 18-year-old baristas that are trying to work and behave professionally.
According to a recent UT article, local business group Coronado Main Street has been educating local businesses on the health order since May. It claims 3 have been flagged for continual non-compliance. It also states Coronado has a growing reputation of ignoring and not enforcing county health orders.
I think it's unfortunate that this is a reputation that's developing. People that behave like this gentleman don't help.
In response, Mayor Richard Bailey sent 10 News a statement that reads in part, Our expectation is that all local businesses and residents continue to follow the county and state health orders. Clayton's Coffee also responding to the incident, saying the continuous resistance to wearing masks has been disheartening. We respectfully asked all of our guests to comply with California's orders to wear masks when at our establishment, and given permission to our staff to respectfully require this of all guests. In order to continue to stay open for business, we must adhere to this.
I'd like for people to behave in a civilized way to each other, and simply doing something like donning a mask or staying 6 feet for someone because you're cognizant of potential health effects is nothing more than human kindness, and I think that's what everyone should be practicing right now.
Rena Nakano, ABC 10 News.
All right. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. So there you go. You have, this is the mask shame and the, this is what can happen, to anybody. So I'm thinking that that's kind of that might not be a bad idea, the whole body camera bit, because then there's no, if you're assaulted for whatever reason, whether it's just for not wearing a mask or even if it's for wearing a MAGA hat. I mean, I don't know how many of you have, MAGA gear or want to wear it. I've heard of people not wearing it because they're afraid of these types of assaults or being accosted, or whether verbally or whether they get into physical altercations. And the thing about it is, people, unfortunately, I think people are, they sit around and they kind of they profile you. They look you up and down. Let me see if there's something that I can be triggered, something that might justify me, throwing this blow or throwing this coffee and it's sad to say that, because I'm telling you, I would say 9 times out of 10, that guy got doused because he had that MAGA hat on. It had nothing to do with the mask. It's now unfortunately what's happened here is that it's like a new TDS that's associated, that's being the mask actually mask the real syndrome, which is the TDS. Is actually more about the MAGA gear or the or the freedom or the free thinker than it is the actual, the risk of the virus, the hysteria there. So I guess you can just try to be proactive or get a body cam for yourself. I mean, I don't know how much, do you guys know how much those things run or, but it's very sad that, it's not sad. It's all a part of it. To me, here's my tin hat. It's all a part of a plan, I think, to divide everybody. This thing is dividing everybody. And if people say, it shouldn't be political. Well, don't tell us what it should be, what it is and what it should be, clearly, I think it's plausible. And so yeah, don't be caught without don't be caught. Don't be under the impression that everybody is is free thinking. And there's a lot of, I think, anxiety. There's a lot of there's a psychological thing going on here. People are coping, even if it means doing something, that's slugging somebody or dousing them with hot coffee. That's not a humankind thing to do. That's not a humane thing to do. So it's just, who knows? I appreciate you guys for coming out. I really appreciate you guys for coming out. I hope you guys are doing well. And so I'm going to probably wrap up this stream, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. If there's another flash stream, I'll try to do better, try to give you an hour's notice for the flash streams. And but next week, I will post the schedule tomorrow for next week's. The live stream schedule is going to change. It's going to go a little bit earlier. I did make a video yesterday. Right now, it's looking like Monday, Wednesdays at 9. That's what we're going to do. Monday, Wednesdays at 9. And of course, flash streams are not off limits, and also the moonlight streams are fair game as well. So shout out to the loyal patrons: Derek C. Williams, Killer Whale Channels, Patrick Dean Forums, Theology Forums, Let the Truth Be Told, Chrysler Imperial H, The Definition of Anarchy, the Angel Munez Variety Show, now Angel's Army. Shout out to Cold War Jesus and Little Miss Goth. So thank you guys so much for all that you do. And no, Crazy Chick Sheet has no problem at all. It's it was just basically just it's just hysteria that I haven't seen. I haven't witnessed any in-person, hysteria or being accosted. But, hopefully you won't have to deal with it, but just know that it's out there. And whether you choose to wear a mask or not, or if you wear a mask in the car, as I'm just thinking, well, who are you actually swapping, droplets with, or what? I don't know the science behind wearing a mask in the car when you're alone. Yikes. I don't know what that is, but it's a chance I will come back. Not sure about today, but maybe later this weekend. But thank you guys so much for your support, and stay as safe as you can during the weekend. And I hope to see you guys on the next live stream or in the comment section. Hope to see you there. And have a great rest of your, oops. Let's see, I got the wrong thing going here. Really appreciate you guys. And if I have anything, I might have something else to share with you, but I may just do that via a video instead. Yeah, there's a new video out already concerning some of the home intelligence smart home devices. So you might take a look at that if you're concerned about it, or if you have a home device that you use.